Welcome back to OXYZEN Health Intelligence. This episode wraps up our three-part exploration of peptide bioregulators, a journey that began with the history of tissue extracts, wandered through the pineal gland and brain peptides, and now arrives at one of the immune system's most intriguing organs, the thymus. The thymus is a central teacher of the immune system, especially early in life. It's where many T cells learn their trade, how to recognize dangerous invaders, how to coordinate an effective response, and crucially, how to distinguish the body's own tissues from foreign ones. That education underpins immune surveillance, the coordinated orchestration of responses to infection, and the prevention of runaway responses that could become autoimmune disease. But the thymus does not remain the robust organ of childhood forever. Across decades, it gradually atrophies, a process known as thymic involution, and much of its tissue is replaced by fat. As thymic function wanes, the production of naive T cells slows, immune repertoire diversity narrows, and the fine balance of immune activation and regulation can shift. The practical consequences are familiar. Older adults often have weaker responses to vaccines, greater susceptibility to novel infections, and a propensity for chronic, low-grade inflammation, sometimes called inflammaging. In short, aging and immune dysfunction are tightly linked. That biological reality sparked a simple but powerful question for researchers. Can molecules derived from the thymus help modulate immune function? Out of that curiosity came interest in thymic peptides and peptide preparations such as Thymalin, Thymogen, and related bioregulators. These compounds, often small chains of amino acids or tissue-derived extracts, have been investigated in certain research traditions for effects on immune regulation, infection-related conditions, inflammation, and aspects of age-related immune decline. The picture, however, is complicated. Some studies and clinical practices report immune-related benefits. Uses and endorsements have been more common in particular regions and medical traditions. At the same time, the quality of evidence varies widely. Small trials, uneven controls, limited replication, and differences in product composition make it difficult to draw universal conclusions. Regulatory status differs from country to country. Marketing claims sometimes outpace the science. That mosaic leads to three practical takeaways. The biology is interesting, the clinical potential deserves study, and the current state of application is uneven. What might thymic peptides do mechanistically? They could influence the behavior of immune cells, tuning signaling pathways, altering cytokine patterns, or supporting certain aspects of T cell function and balance. In plain language, they may help modulate immune responses rather than simply boosting them. That semantic distinction is crucial. The immune system is not a dial you always want to turn up. More is not always better. Excessive activation can provoke autoimmune disease, chronic inflammatory conditions, or tissue damage. The real therapeutic aim is regulation, restoring appropriate responsiveness, improving training and tolerance, and resolving harmful inflammation. It's also useful to put peptides into the broader clinical context. Peptides are not inherently fringe. Insulin revolutionized diabetes care. GLP-1 receptor agonists have reshaped metabolic medicine and obesity treatment. Peptides can be powerful, precise therapies. Precisely for that reason, they must meet the same standards as any other medicine. Clearly defined identity, consistent purity and stability, accurate dosing, validated manufacturing, rigorous clinical evidence, and ongoing safety monitoring. That contrasts sharply with the current online ecosystem, where many peptide products are marketed as research use only or sold through gray markets. Those products may be mislabeled, contaminated, degraded during shipping, under or overdosed, or simply unsupported by human data. And even an authentic peptide can be harmful or ineffective if used inappropriately. If we want peptide medicine to advance responsibly, research must be rigorous. That means studying well-defined medical conditions, not vague appeals to anti-aging. Selecting measurable and clinically meaningful outcomes. Immune cell profiles, vaccine responses, symptom scales, imaging, functional tests, using placebo or standard of care controls, carefully monitoring adverse events, and replicating findings across independent groups. Only then does interesting biology become trustworthy medicine. From OXYZEN's perspective, health intelligence is about understanding signals, the physiological data that tell us how someone is recovering, sleeping, mounting immunity, handling metabolic stress, or coping with inflammation. Peptides may one day become precise tools for adjusting those signals, improving tissue repair, nudging immune aging in a healthier direction, aligning circadian regulation, or protecting vulnerable neural circuits. But tools are not miracles. The most powerful interventions remain the fundamentals: restorative sleep, regular strength and cardiovascular activity, balanced nutrition, including adequate protein and fiber, metabolic health, stress management, sensible sun exposure, supportive social connections, avoidance of tobacco, moderation of alcohol, and routine medical screening. Those interventions create the background physiology that any peptide must improve upon to matter. So, where does peptide bioregulator science stand today? It's historically fascinating and mechanistically promising. Clinically, the evidence is mixed and often regionally concentrated. Commercially, the field has been overhyped in places. Scientifically, it's worth careful, transparent study. Practically, it is not a green light for casual self-experimentation with unregulated products. The future could be extraordinary, highly specific, well-characterized peptides used as part of integrated care for tissue repair, immune resilience, circadian health, or neuroprotection. But that future must be earned through rigorous trials, manufacturing quality, clear regulatory oversight, and honest communication, not through marketing hype or curiosity-driven experimentation without safety measures. I'm Dr. Yende. Thank you for joining this three-part OXYZEN Health Intelligence series. Remember, the future of medicine lies not in chasing every molecule that sounds powerful, but in learning which signals are real, which are safe, and which actually improve human life. I'll see you in the next episode.